So let's talk about the race this afternoon. So let's go from the drop to the end of the race. Kurt Busch would start on the front row with Martin Truex. I believe Martin Truex Jr. started on the front row as well. Kurt Busch ends up leading a lot. Ends up leading the first 35 laps of the race. There are two incidents that do take place. So the first caution comes out for Landon Castle as he spins off into turn 3, bringing out the first caution on lap 15. And the second crash happens on the restart after that, where A.J. Allmendinger would spin out and hit the wall. Then the pit stop, then the competition caution comes out, and then the pit stop takes place. Kurt Busch would have trouble, and Martin Truex Jr. would be able to take the lead. However, Martin Truex Jr. Even though he gets the lead off pit road, it ends up being Jimmy Johnson, Chase Elliott, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., and Matt Kenseth. They all decide to stay out off of pit road to gain track position. This would work out for a little bit for Stenhouse and Johnson, but eventually Truex and Blaney would be able to get out front. Truex with the lead, of course. And Martin Truex Jr. would be able to go on and win the first stage. Good job for Truex. He's been dominant a lot this year. But it wouldn't take long. We go to the second stage, and it doesn't take long for Truex. Truex would have the lead for most of the second stage. But eventually, as we got farther in the stage, Chase was able to get the lead with about 30 laps to go. Yes, you heard that right. A Chevy was able to battle a Toyota for the race lead. And Chase Elliott would go by Martin Truex Jr., and he would go on to win stage 2. Yeah, good for Chase. Now stage 3 takes place. Unfortunately, Chase Elliott has an issue on pit road. Well, he doesn't have an issue. Chase does not get the lead off pit road. Kurt Busch beats him by an inch off of pit road, and Kurt's able to choose the restart. Kurt Busch would be able to get the lead and would lead a lot of the rest of this race. Then R catches him and passes him with 90 laps to go. And then the pit stops take place, and Kurt Busch has an issue on pit road. Kurt, unfortunately, and Blaney have a disagreement. They can't figure out who's going to go on the pit. They can't figure out who's going to go on the pit stop. Blaney stops. He's waiting for Kurt to go. Kurt thinks that Blaney's going to pit first, so Kurt stops for a few seconds, and this would drop Kurt back to almost 7th place in the race. Yeah. Brad Keselowski would have some brake trouble as well, as in this race. Apologies for me putting my hand on my arm. My neck is hurting for whatever reason. But a lucky break would come with about 40 laps to go for guys like Kyle Busch and Kevin Harvick. And Eric Almirola, I got to give credit. He did a really good job keeping the lead from Kevin Harvick. Unfortunately, caution comes out 40 to go, and this would be a big break for guys like Kyle Busch, Kurt Busch, Chase Elliott, and Harvick. But this would hurt Eric, because Eric would have a frustrating pit stop. He would lose the lead off of pit road to Kyle Busch and Harvick, and Kyle Busch would get by, and we go to the end of the race. Eric has a terrible restart, so he falls back to like 6th or 7th. Kurt has a bad restart, so he falls outside the top 10. And now basically it comes down between Kyle Busch and Kevin Harvick. Kyle and Kevin have a pretty good battle at the end of this race. I have to say, good job for Harvick and good job for Kyle, giving us a pretty good show. With about 10 to go, Harvick catches him, and he's bumping Kyle in the rear. With 7 laps to go, Kevin bumps Kyle out of the way and passes him, and he goes on to win his 6th race of the season. No one's really angry. Kyle says that's racing. Kevin says, hey, and I gotta do what I gotta do to win, you know. And I agree with Harvick. I agree 100%. Harvick even though he only led like 10 laps, he got there at the end. And whoever goes across the finish line first, gets the win. I'll go through the top few guys and give you my analysis. Kevin Harvick, even though he didn't have the strongest car today, he got the win. Kyle Busch somehow went from having a 6th place car to finishing 2nd. Good for Kyle Busch. Eric Almirola, got to give him credit. Probably had he and Kurt Busch, both those guys had the cars to beat in this race, but they just didn't have it at the end because Eric struggled at the end. He couldn't get up to the front. He still got 3rd though. No, 4th. Actually, didn't he get 3rd? No, Truex I thought got 3rd. I don't know. I think Art got 3rd and Truex got 4th. Yeah, Truex had wheel hopping issues, was able to come home 4th. That just shows how good of a driver Martin Truex Jr. is. Chase got 5th, best run for Chase, I'd say, in a long time. Good for Chase as well. Those are some of the analysis. Also, Matt Kenseth. Kenseth had a pretty, I would say, a good run for that team. And they were able to, I think, got a top 15 finish. So yeah, Harvick gets his 6th win of the season. Good for Kevin. And yeah, Kevin Harvick now the favorite to win the title and Cup. Harvick having his best career, is having a career season with 6 wins. People thought that he might be not in contention anymore, but I'm like, he's gonna win another race. And what do you know? He wins his 6th race this season. Well, but I'm gonna be done. Thank you guys for watching this race review, and I'll see you guys next time.